Okay, so hey there guys. So today's video is going to be something a little bit different for my channel. I saw this on Liv's Loves Makeup, or I Love Liv's Makeup. I'll leave her channel link below. I'm not sure if she's the first one that's done this video. I'm pretty sure other people have done this type of video. It's just brands that I think that are too overpriced for what they are, basically. So brands that are overpriced. So I'm going to start with extremely expensive brands and then work my way down into drugstore brands. So the first brand I really wanted to start out with is Tom Ford. Now, I know that Tom Ford, I'm just going to be like talking about it, and I'll pull them up on my Sephora app as I go along. I think that would be a good thing to do. So first off, Tom Ford, as you guys all know, is a very world-renowned designer. He originally worked for Gucci, and now he is his own line, his own brand, and he has a line of makeup. Now, his makeup is extremely expensive. I don't know what is actually the cheapest thing in his line, but everything ranges from, I think his lipsticks are about $50, and I think that the price went up with the newer packaging. It's now $54. So basically with tax, you're paying about $56 for a lipstick. It's like paying for a Christian Louboutin lipstick. We'll get into that too. I understand that you're paying for the name, but the fact that Marc Jacobs and YSL, Burberry, they're even like more decently priced than Tom Ford. I just think Tom Ford is not worth the hefty price tag. So the lipsticks are $54, which first I was interested in purchasing at least one of them for the last Vibe sale, and they look like that, if you guys can see. Jesus Christ, can she leave me alone? Okay, so anyway, sorry about that. So let's continue talking about Tom Ford. So anyway, let me just pull it back up on my phone. So this is what the lipstick tubes look like. Now this one I believe is a limited edition exclusive, and the color is Orchid Soleil lip color. And I think this one's a little bit more expensive because it is limited edition. But come on, $54 for a lipstick. That's pretty expensive. And I just feel like, again, every time I want to get this during the Vibe sale, I always turn it down because I've heard, like, not the best things about his lipsticks, that they're kind of not worth it because they go bad a lot quicker than other lipsticks. So I'm just like, why should I spend that much money on, like, a lipstick that is, like, the cost of, like, three and a half lipsticks of, like, another brand, or 2.5 lipsticks, like Urban Decay's, like, $18 or $19, Too Faced is like $20, so it's like that's reasonable for high-end makeup, but I just think that this is too luxury and too expensive for like the average consumer to actually buy. Then you have like his eyeshadow quads, and they are $85 for 4 eyeshadows. $85, and people say you really don't get too much product in his eyeshadow quads. I'm pretty sure you don't get like what you paid for when you buy like his eyeshadows or like his other powder products, which again, it's like it should be like more of like worth it to somebody to pay that much for something like this, when I can get like an eyeshadow palette from Visart, which is still like pretty expensive to me, but you get 12 eyeshadows for $80, and this is 4 shadows and you're paying $85, so it's even more than one of the Visart palettes. So that's kind of crazy. There is an array of different colors, and maybe like way down the line, maybe if I want to treat myself when I have a good enough job, then that's when I might like go for Tom Ford or like another luxury brand. But again, I just feel like the price is insane. And then I just wanted to talk about his bronzer. Oh my god. What is this? That's $600. $595. Okay, there's a perfume on the website that is $595 from Tom Ford, and this is the Tom Ford Oud Wood AOD Parfum, 250 milliliters. Why is this so expensive? Oud Wood is, oh, okay. One of the most rare, precious, and expensive ingredients in a perfumer's arsenal, exotic rosewood and cardamom give way to a smoky blend of rare oud wood, sandalwood, and vetiver. Tonka bean and amber add warmth and sensuality. Let's see if there's any reviews on this product. Probably not, because people probably won't spend that much on an actual perfume. There is a rating, though. It says, oh, okay, 4 stars. Yeah, this is definitely all people that, like, can actually afford this product because, yeah, I would never go for something that expensive. No matter how good it smells, I'm like, I could definitely find something that is similar because most perfumes are basically dupes of each other anyway. They only have, like, slight variations. Okay, and then I wanted to pull up his bronzer, which is this one. This is the Tom Ford bronzer, the ultimate bronzer, and this retails for $110. Now, I keep on getting recommendations left and right every Sephora sale to pick this up, and since I did show the lipstick in my last recommendations or wish list video from Tom Ford, people were like, the lipsticks aren't worth it, go for the bronzer. And I'm like, I'm not going to spend $110 on a bronzer. Why is it so expensive? I'm like, there's no way I'm going to spend that much money on it. So, for me, I suggest you go for the Marc Jacobs bronzers instead. The highest recommendation besides this one was the Tantastic bronzer from Marc Jacobs. And that one is a fraction of the price of this one. That one is still expensive, but you're getting, like, I think just as much product, and it's $50 as opposed to $110, and then you get your 20% off discount, so it's like $44 or something, so that's still a lot more reasonable than paying $110. Like, I can't even justify buying this with the 20% off. I did buy the Visart palette to treat myself, and again, that's an eyeshadow palette, and that was the main thing that I was going to buy for the last sale. I really didn't buy too many things because I didn't have that much money that time. So I just got things that I really, really, really wanted. But yeah, this is ridiculously overpriced. And I don't know why it's so damn expensive because it is massive. That's great. And I've heard great reviews about it. But it's so damn expensive. So there's no way I would ever purchase that. All right, let's move on to another luxury brand. We're going to move on to La Mer. So, La Mer is a very well-known, I believe they are a French brand, and people constantly rave about their products. And I believe the most popular product is their moisturizer. Now, this is the Creme de la Mer Moisturizing Cream, and this is what it looks like. And this ranges from $170 to, I believe, $315. Yeah, $315 for this. Granted, you are getting a shit ton of product. The 1 ounce is $170, the 0.5 ounces is $85, and the 2 ounces is $315. So, granted, you are saving about $45 if you decide to go with the 2 ounce, because 170 plus 170 is like $240. Actually, no, you're not saving anything. That's actually more expensive. That's kind of a ripoff. Let's see. 170 plus 170. Oh, okay, you are. You're saving about $30. If you decide to go with the 2 ounce, with tax and everything, it's about $30. I believe my sister uses this moisturizing cream. She might use the $85 one, but my mom gets it for her from Bloomingdale's, and I believe my mom uses the same as that cream. So yeah, they love it, but again, I just think, again, this is way too overpriced. Like, why is it I'm going to spend, I'm sorry, there's so much glare from this light. Let's see if I move it over a little bit, it might help. Yeah, it's still reflecting right off. Maybe if I go like this, no. Anyway, you can pull it up yourself if you really want to look at it, but there's like really no better way for me to show you guys. Maybe if I lower the brightness a little bit on my phone, that might be a little bit better. I guess that's a little better. So anyway, yeah, I would never purchase this. I have moisturizers that I love. Why do I need to spend $300 on a moisturizer? There's definitely cheaper alternatives out there for skincare. There are so many amazing drugstore brands. There's so many amazing mid-range brands that you could try over like something like this. I just think, again, this is way too overpriced. So that's the first item. And then the other one I wanted to talk about was their foundation. I think that's the one. Yeah, there's only one foundation on the Sephora website, but it is very expensive. So this is the La Mer, the Soft Fluid Longwear Foundation, Broad Spectrum SPF 20, and this retails for $110. It comes in a pretty good range of shades, but again, there are really no dark skin tones. It's kind of like goes up to honey, which is not a really good shade at all. Oh, okay, no. Yeah, it's really not a good shade range. But yeah, this is $110. Again, why is it so damn expensive? Like, why? I understand that there are designer brands of everything. Like, there's designer brands of jewelry, there's designer brands of handbags, there's designer brands of clothing, so why not have designer brands of makeup? But for clothing and stuff like that, you don't constantly repurchase things because obviously you're not going to use up something that is clothing unless it like gets ruined or it's something that just ends up being too small on you and you have to repurchase. Makeup is something you purchase a lot more frequently than everything else, basically, because you have to purchase refills of something that you really love, and it ends up adding up and being extremely expensive. So the fact that you already spend $110 the first time, granted, again, it's not an arm and a leg for somebody who can afford it, but for the average consumer like me or somebody else, it's pretty damn expensive. So again, I don't know why it's so expensive, but yeah. I've heard amazing things about that foundation, but I would never purchase it. And then the last really high-end luxury brand I wanted to talk about, well, actually two, is Sicily, which is not on Sephora, but I believe Christian Louboutin is. Yeah, let's talk about Christian Louboutin. And I want to talk about the lipsticks. Okay, so Christian Louboutin, as you guys know, again, Christian Louboutin is a world-renowned designer. He is a clothing designer, but he does also have select items of makeup. I'm not sure how much, like, makeup is actually in his line. From what I see on Sephora, it's not that much. It's basically like nail polishes and lipsticks. But he has a lipstick that's called the Louboutin Lip Lacquer, and this is in the shade Rouge Louboutin. It comes in a wide range of colors. It comes in about 8 different colors, and this retails for $85. Now, granted, you are paying for the packaging of this, but again, $85 for a lipstick. This is almost $90 then with tax. Again, granted, the VIB sale is going on, so you can get these for a slight discount. But again, it's still going to cost you a lot of money. This is only going to be like $5 or $6 less when you figure out the math. So you're really not saving that much. And I know Sephora has like a way of like, you know, dragging and drawing people in with their sale, but this is just something, again, I would never purchase because it's just way too overpriced. Like, why is it that expensive? So I just wanted to mention that. I don't even like the packaging, honestly. I don't really like his packaging at all. I think it's extremely gaudy and not practical whatsoever. I mean, I love that he is extravagant and different, but I wish that the tube wasn't curved. I would probably like it a lot more if it was just a regular tube. Like, this is really cool with the design and everything, but why does it have to be angled? Like, that annoys me, and that would be really annoying to actually, like, carry around, and I just don't think it's worth the money. So, that's that one. And then the last luxury brand I wanted to pull up is Sicily, which I'll just search for it on my Safari. If my phone wouldn't be so slow. I hope I spelled it right. And it's Sicily Paris Official Powerful Plant-Based Cosmetics. Okay, so they are plant-based, but I wanted to talk about their foundation and I believe their primer. Yeah. So, oh wow, with all $250 orders, you get free samples. That's pretty nice. Anyway, let's go to their makeup for complexion, and let's go to, I've actually never been on their website before, because why would I be? Foundation. Let's go to foundations first. Yeah, their foundations range, oh my gosh, these are so expensive. So their foundations range, so this is what their website looks like. This is Sicily. It's sicily-paris.com if you were interested or not. And they have 3 different foundations. The first one is the Sicily a la Teint Anti-Aging Foundation. And then the Oil-Free All-Day Coverage. This is the Phyto Tint Expert. And then they have the Phyto Tint Eclat Oil-Free Adjustable Coverage. So they range from $170, well, $122 to $170. Again, why? So expensive. So this is the most expensive foundation, so let's click on this one. And then this is what the foundation looks like. Again, I'll leave links below if you guys just really want to see. I'm just pulling up my phone for reference, but since you clearly can't see due to the glare, I will link it below if you guys really want me to. But I'm pretty lazy about this stuff, and usually I forget. But if you guys really want me to, I will. So this says, let's see what the ingredients are. So it doesn't list the ingredients, but again, this is like ridiculously overpriced. I would never pay more than $60 for a foundation. Even my luxury foundations that I like are $60 and less. Even the Dior foundation that I really love is like $52. So for me, the most expensive makeup I will buy is like $65. Anything over that, I really need to do my research and see if it is worth it, like the Visor palette or like the Marc Jacobs eyeshadow palette or the bronzer. So yeah, again, I would never dream of picking this up because it is way too expensive. And then they also have a primer that I wanted to talk about that Jaclyn Hill keeps on raving about. So I wanted to see what is actually in it. Let's just search primers. For some reason, it's not under complexion. I think it's by Sicily, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's a different one. I could have sworn I just saw it on the website. It does look like it's the one that I'm looking at right now. Maybe it's not Sicily, it might be a different brand, but only one primer comes up and it's $90. So again, that is insane. I would never pay that for any type of makeup. All right, let's move on to some more mid-range brands, but they're still pretty expensive. I'm just going to talk about certain products from these lines. I'm not saying that the line is ridiculously overpriced. I mean, it is overpriced, but they're a little bit more decently priced than these other brands. So the first brand I wanted to talk about is Burberry, and I wanted to talk about their highlighters. Now, I have been really dying to try one of their highlighters because people keep on raving about how beautiful they are. If you don't know what Burberry is a pretty well-renowned why do I keep on saying well-renowned? World-renowned brands that is from London, and Burberry also has their own line of makeup, and they're available in Sephora, in Saks, I believe, and Bloomingdale's. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's just so beautiful. And I really, really want to bring myself to buy one of these because I really want one of them because I keep on hearing like amazing things about them. But they're $68 for a highlighter. $68. Granted, the packaging is gorgeous and the outer packaging is also gorgeous, but it's just obscene with how expensive it is. Like, I just can't bring myself to buy this during the Vibe sale. This is almost the cost of the full visor palette, and you're getting 12 eyeshadows. Like, I keep on bringing that up because it really is worth the price. This is something that I just would not gravitate towards and be like, oh yeah, I really want it, but it's so expensive, but I'm still going to buy it. I just think it's not worth it. Maybe if I get it at some point, maybe next year or something, I don't know. I probably would never bring myself to buy this. So again, too expensive. And now let's talk about Kevyn Aucoin. I am going to talk about basically the whole brand. I'm going to comment on the brand as a whole. So this is Kevyn Aucoin. If you guys didn't know who Kevyn Aucoin is, he is also a world-renowned designer who sadly killed himself a few years ago. I'm not exactly sure when, but you can look it up on Wikipedia or wherever else on Google to find out the full information about it. I didn't even know that he didn't like really do like the new products and stuff because I didn't know he wasn't alive anymore until like a couple of years ago. But I suggest you guys read up on that. That's pretty interesting. It's really tragic. Really, really tragic. It's really, just really sad when people do that. And Alexander McQueen too. Like, they're both like amazing. Like, Kevyn Aucoin has amazing products. So this is what the line is, and his products range from about, it says the least expensive is like $26. So they range from like $26, I think, all the way up to about $70 or $60. I don't think you can find anything more than like 60 something dollars though. So it's not too insane, but it's still pretty damn expensive. Wow, their concealer corrector has 1 star, but only one person actually reviewed it. But anyway, I purchased the, oh crap, I went back too much on the app. Kevyn Aucoin. I'm kind of winging this video if you guys didn't notice. I don't see the Sensual Skin Enhancer. Oh yeah, it's right here. So I got the Kevyn Aucoin the Celestial Skin Liquid Lightening Highlighter. So this is the Liquid Lightening. This was like a super popular product like a couple of years ago. And this retails for $52. Now, I don't think this is completely obscene. It's still pretty expensive for a liquid highlighter though. But it was a really beautiful product and I really did enjoy it. I picked it up during the Vibe sale. But everything else, like this was kind of worth it, but I don't think it's worth $52. I think it's worth like $40. But everything else that he has is pretty expensive. Granted, again, the prices aren't horrible, but they're still like pretty expensive. Now, the one thing that I think is ridiculously overpriced is their highlighting powders. Now, I have one of them and I have the shade Starlight. And this is what it looks like. So look how tiny that is. This damn thing is $44. And it's so small. Like, it's different when I bought, like, I mean, I do own one. But I think every time I bought it, I was cringing. Because I'm like, it's so expensive. But every time, so I have this shade, Starlight. And I bought Candlelight and I didn't like it, so I returned it. But I really like Starlight, but I don't think it's worth $42. I think that's way too expensive. I'm just looking at my blush and highlight. I think it looks okay. I feel like my blush like isn't that pigmented, but I think it's good. I kind of went for like a dead look today. But anyway, yeah, I returned it because I'm like, anything that I find that is not worth it to me anymore, that is expensive, that I don't fall in love with, I'm going to return. Unless it's something that I've never owned, like something from a brand I've never owned before, that's a little bit different. But since I already own one of these, I don't need two of them. The Laura Mercier and Bobbi Brown. Bobbi Brown is super expensive too. At least those are like pretty big pans. They're not like this tiny little thing, and they're basically the same price. But I find those much more worth it. I wear those a lot. I reach for them a lot more than this one. So yeah, again, insane. You can get a better value for his highlighters and for like his contouring powders in his actual sets. Now, I think that the contouring book is about $50, or maybe it's like $45. Where is it? This contouring book is $65, but you get 4 products. Like, you get a candlelight cream, a candlelight powder, and 2 sculpting powders, and then you get 4 eyeshadows. And they said that this one, like, these are basically like the sizes of the individual pans of the highlighters. And it says it's a $226 value, and you get it for $65. So if you guys are interested in getting anything from Kevyn Aucoin, or anything face-wise, I would highly suggest getting this. And get this during the Sephora sale. This is a pretty good deal. So I guess this is like kind of like a recommendations video too. I did want to do a recommendations video, but I figured my wish list was good enough. So yeah, I've also been interested in trying his Sensual Skin Enhancer, but again, I just haven't brought myself to actually purchase it because it's expensive. Okay, let's move on to Bobbi Brown, because speaking of Bobbi Brown, super expensive again, and then we'll move into some drugstore products. I don't think there's too many other brands I want to talk about that are high-end. So, again, if you guys didn't know, Bobbi Brown is a world-renowned makeup artist, and she has her own line at Sephora, and I believe Bloomingdale's, anywhere. Basically, a lot of people know what Bobbi Brown is. I grew up on Bobbi Brown for a while. I had, like, quite a few of her products. I had, like, some of her eyeshadows, some of her mascaras, and her lip glosses. My mom used to always get, like, that stuff with me, and I think I had, like, the BB cream as well. So, anyway, most of her stuff ranges is basically like around Kevyn Aucoin's prices. They're pretty much evenly priced for how expensive they are. This is the Bobbi Brown U palette, and I believe this is a concealing and contouring cream contouring palette. I mean, it's $250, but you do get an amazing amount of product here. This is pretty amazing for someone who is a makeup artist. So as you can see, it's like a concealing and contouring palette. I think that's pretty cool, actually. So I would say if you're going for something from Bobbi Brown and you really want like good quality stuff, I would suggest going for one of these palettes, especially if you're a makeup artist. I think that's a pretty good value for how much product you get. But other than that, like this holiday palette I've been wanting for a while. I've been wanting to get one of Bobbi Brown's highlighting palettes for a pretty long time now, and this one actually looks better than last year. So this is what it looks like. It comes with 3 different highlighters. There's like a gold, a pink, and a rose gold. This retails for $70. And granted, this is an $108 value because the individual pans are like $40 a piece. I guess these are the mini sizes, so I guess it would add up to like $109. But again, pretty overpriced. It says it's, it doesn't list the colors here. Oh, okay, it does. Highlighting powder in Nectar, Pink Gold Glow, and Golden Bronze Glow. I believe Nectar Glow is one of the permanent shades. I do have 2 of them. So it's like, why do I need a palette when I already have 2 of them? I have Pink Glow and Bronze Glow, and I picked up both of those during the Sephora sale because those were like $45 because they were already expensive, and I'm like, I'm just going to get them during the Vibe sale. So they were already too overpriced, but I was like, I might as well get them then. But if you want to go for something like this and you've never tried them before, then go for this. But I would suggest just picking out one of their individual ones and finding one that you really love rather than going for something that's this expensive, because again, this is pretty overpriced. And then like was there anything else I wanted to cover from Bobbi Brown? Yeah, like the highlighting powders, okay, they went up to $48. These are $48. And they come in 5 different shades. So I have Bronze Glow, which is this one right here. And then I also have Pink Glow, which is this one right here. I'm not wearing those today. I'm wearing a Too Faced highlighter and my Anastasia Starlight mixed together. I'm wearing Blinded by the Light by Too Faced and Anastasia's Starlight mixed together. I think it looks really pretty. So anyway, but yeah, I again think that this is ridiculously overpriced. I just talked about it, so I'm not gonna like bend your ear about it again. And then there was one more brand. Oh yeah, her eyeshadows. Her eyeshadows are $26 a piece. Now, I probably should have just went for the palettes that she has. I think she sells these in a palette as well. I keep on like going to this woman's face when I want to actually go through the shades. I have two of the colors. I have Camel and I have Toast. And I need to wear them more often. But again, I don't wear them enough in order to justify the price. $26 is pretty pricey for an individual eyeshadow. So that's why I haven't really brought myself to buy new shades. But they are really beautiful. They blend really nicely. They are pigmented. So I would say they were worth it. I just wish they were a little bit less expensive. And then there was something else I wanted to talk about for her. Oh yeah, her eyeshadow palettes. Alright, so this is the Bobbi Brown Nude Drama eyeshadow palette. And this is $59. And this is one of the holiday palettes that she came out with for holiday 2017. I wanted to get one of them, I believe, last year, but I think I always go for some type of eyeshadow palette. I held off for last year, I believe, because I couldn't afford anything last year for the holidays, but I did get the Visor palette this past spring. The one that's on my list for this year is the NARS one, and it's the NARS Narcissist palette, and granted it is the same price as this one. I actually think you're getting more product in this one. I was so torn on which eyeshadow palette I really wanted. I'm really kind of dying to get one of the Natasha Denona ones, which we're going to talk about right now, but this is so expensive. Like, no, so damn expensive. Let's talk about Natasha Denona. Okay, so as you guys know, Natasha Denona is not a very old brand. She just was an up-and-coming makeup designer for makeup not too long ago. She kind of blew up last year, and she blew up with her like 26 pan palettes. Granted, her other products aren't too expensive. Her eyeshadow palettes, though, are expensive as hell. So, she has, like, other products in the line that is, like, the highlighting powder, which is actually less expensive than Bobbi Brown and NARS and stuff. This is $38. That's not too expensive. Then we have a blush pan, which is $38, the same price. Her foundation's $42. That's not too expensive at all. Her blush duo is $38. So everything else is pretty much run-of-the-mill pricing. Well, one of her primers is $60. It's kind of expensive. Her eyebrow shadow mono is $22. Black is black. Eyeliner is $29. That's still expensive. Her lipsticks are $24, etc. But then you get to her eyeshadows. Her eyeshadows are $239 for these humongous palettes. So you get 28 eyeshadows in this thing. And maybe one day when I don't have anything else on my Sephora list and I really want to splurge on something, I might get one of these palettes. Because I'm just really interested to see all of the hype about them. And Stephanie Nicole is always saying that this palette's like one of her holy grails. And so is the Color Rain and Queen of Hearts, which are my holy grails too. I love them so much. And I am going to be posting an updated top 5 eyeshadow palettes video. And I got a request on one of my other videos for my Juvia's Place versus Color Rain, which I've gotten so many views on, which thank you so much. I just thought it was a really interesting video to do. And I felt like it would do well, but I'm glad it's done so well. Like, that's amazing to me. Somebody requested for me to compare the Colored Rain and the Anastasia Modern Renaissance, which are, like, my 2 favorite palettes ever. Well, basically, like, ever. I love them so much. And what's funny is that Stephanie Nicole and what's her name? Jen Loves Reviews, which her channel's amazing. I love her. She's so awesome. She does makeup news, and she, like, puts together a show every single week of, like, basically reporting on what's new in makeup. It's awesome. But, she had the Anastasia Modern Renaissance in her top 5, and Stephanie Nicole had the Colored Rain, and then they were both comparing them. And Jen Loves Reviews also had the Colored Rain palette in her top 5 as well, and it's in my top 5, so there's a preview. But anyway, someone asked me to compare those two palettes together, so I will do that for you. I think that was an awesome request, so thank you for requesting that. I wish I would have done it a couple of days ago, because I was wearing the Color Rain palette on my eyes, but yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, this is, like, insane on how expensive this is. Granted, you are getting a shit ton of products, and people did say, if you do the math, it's actually the same price as buying, like, all of these shades individually. But it's like, why would you buy all these shades individually anyway? Like, are you that crazy to spend that much money on individual eyeshadows when there's a lot of cheaper alternatives out there, like ColourPop, Makeup Geek, etc.? You know what? Maybe I'll do a luxury one right now, and then I'll do, like, more mid-range in a separate video. Maybe I'll just keep this one luxury so it's not too long. I think I'm going to do that instead. We'll do luxury, and then we'll do drugstore another time. So anyway, yeah, this is insane. And then, like, the other palette that I've been dying to try is the Natasha Denona Sunset Eyeshadow Palette. Now, granted, it's another warm palette. Yes, it is. But, and this retails for $129. So, do I need another warm eyeshadow palette? Not really. It kind of is very similar to the Visart Warm Neutral Matte palette and my Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, that it's like, why do I really need this? I swatched it in store, and the shimmers were so gorgeous. But Stephanie Nicole said that her matte shades aren't the best. And it's like, why would I purchase something that isn't, like, completely amazing for this price tag? I probably won't waste my money on it, because I'm already thinking it's probably going to be a waste of money. Especially going for something that I already have similar colors in my collection already. So, it is beautiful, and I was thinking about getting it during the Vibe sale rather than the NARS palette, but that adds another $130 to what my wish list was already. If you haven't checked out my wish list, go check it out. That was like 2 videos ago that I posted. So, but this probably won't be up for a while. So I don't know why I would tell you to check it out now when this won't be up till like way after that. And then there's also the Lila eyeshadow palette. Since the Sunset one was a lot more purple, warm. This is like more of like a cooler version, but people like, for some reason, are like dying for like an all purple eyeshadow palette. So this is what it looks like. So it is really beautiful. I probably wouldn't go for this because I don't really need it, but it is $129. Again, very expensive. I probably, for me, if I ever wanted to try any of her eyeshadows, I would just go for these smaller palettes here. And these are $48, so that's not too insane. And I think you save a pretty decent amount of money with these, so I probably will get one of these at some point. But I probably would go for this one. This is probably more in like my color family that I like. So this is the Rosewood, this is 2, Rosewood, Lavender Gray, Shell, Light Coral, and Maroon. So that's what it looks like. So these are the 5-pan palettes. So I would probably go for something like this. I would probably never go for like the more expensive stuff. Actually, I probably should have added this to my wish list. But I was like pretty turned off by her because of everything that happened with the Fancy Faced. And she's one of my favorite YouTubers. If you don't know who she is, please go check out her channel. She is insanely amazing at makeup. Her eyeshadow is always like perfection. I love her makeup. And some crazy, like, Instagram thing happened to her on Natasha Denona's Instagram. They, like, really dissed her. So that's why I've always been, like, really hesitant on purchasing this, from this brand. And then, like, her other eyeshadow palettes, This one's $95. It's not as expensive, but this doesn't do anything for me. It's not really anything that I'm too interested in. This is the eyeshadow palette 10, and again, it's like blue and purple. I don't know. It's not really that interesting to me. And then they have she has the Star eyeshadow palette, which I believe came out this past year or last year. I can't remember if it was December last year or like this year. So you get about 18 shadows in here, which is, again, is pretty good, but this retails for $169, which is insanely expensive. So yeah, I just probably would never go for any of these eyeshadow palettes that are this expensive. It's just too much money for me. Alright, then the next brands I wanted to talk about. I mean, I'm going to kind of justify the price of this brand because I do think that their ingredients are amazing. And I'm going to be talking about Hourglass. So, granted, I do have quite a few things from Hourglass. I have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Ethereal Light, and that is so worth it to me. I mean, it's $48, so it's not too expensive, and it's a finishing powder. So, this is more worth it to me than basically anything else in her line. Hourglass, I'm pretty sure it's a Sephora exclusive brand. And this is what the powder looks like. So these are pretty popular, the ambient lighting powders. And they come in a wide range of colors. They come in about like 5 or 6 different colors. The only other one I've tried before is Luminous Light. I have Ethereal Light now, and I just absolutely love it as a finishing powder every day. I'm obsessed with it. I love it so much. But the things that I think that are a little bit, like, way overpriced is their primer. Their primer is $75. And, well, yeah. Oh, the jumbo size is $75. I thought this was the mini. I was like, why is that $75? So it says it's an $104 value, but it retails for $75. It's like, I really don't feel like I'm really saving that much. And it says an oil-free primer with a silky, airy texture that leaves a smooth canvas for makeup while reducing the look of redness, pores, and wrinkles. What it does with a texture unlike any other, this silky primer extends the wear of makeup, which also concealing redness, minimizing the appearance of pores, fine lines, and wrinkles, and providing broad spectrum SPF 15 for a perfect complexion that lasts, etc., blah, blah, blah. The one channel that I always see raving about this primer is Andrea Mattiliano. She said this is like her favorite primer of all time. Granted, she does have oily skin, but I think she recommends it for all skin types. Her, like, holy grails for, like, her, fall holy grails or like her summer holy grails, she always mentions this foundation, and then she's always talking about the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation, which I thought was so cakey on me. I did not keep that foundation. I was like, this is not worth it to me. I love the Giorgio Armani. I love my Dior foundation. Why would I keep this one that I don't really like? So I ended up returning that foundation. I'm very picky with foundations now. If I don't love it, I'm going to return it. So especially if it's something that's expensive from Sephora. If it's from the drugstore, it's not like it's too insane. I'm wearing the Giorgio Armani today, actually. I wanted to go back to one of my favorites, and then everything else is basically drugstore except for, like, my highlighter and my bronzer. But, like, my primer and everything else is drugstore, and my eyeshadows are ColourPop. So, anyway, and then this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit palette, and this is volume 3. Now, they always come out with a blush palette for the holidays, but this retails for $80. And yes, you are getting 6 different products in here, and granted, their individual blushes are about $40, and their individual powders are $40, but these are a lot smaller in size. And it doesn't say you're getting, like, a value with this. It doesn't say, like, oh, originally $100 value, you're getting it for $80. So again, I think that's way too expensive. This is what it looks like, but I would never go for that. And then they also have a highlighting palette, and this retails for $62, and everybody keeps on talking about this. This is the Ambient Metallic Strobe Lighting Palette, And it comes with the shades Absolute Strobe Light, Pure Strobe Light, and Lucent Strobe Light. So this is what it looks like, and a lot of people are saying that this is amazing. Stephanie Nicole like just talked about this on Jen Loves Reviews channel when they were talking about their favorites of October, which that girl, Stephanie, needs to do more favorites videos. Like, I was like, oh my god, I finally get to find out what she's been loving for the past, like, year, and she's telling us on somebody else's channel. I'm like, girl, you need to do favorites videos on your channel, at least, like, like, spring, summer, fall, you know, like, spring favorites, summer favorites, fall favorites. Like, you don't have to do it every month, but maybe, like, every 3 months, please. Yeah, but she said that this is, like, replacing her Anastasia Sunburst highlighter. Not Sunburst, Starburst. And that's one of the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting colors in the Gleam Kit, which the Gleam Kit isn't available anymore, but now you can get the Sugar Kit, which I could have sworn this was like the same thing as like the Sweets Kit, but this is called like the Sugar Kit, and it has like one shade from the Sweets Kit and one shade from the Gleam Kit, and then there's like one new shade. I'm like, it's not really worth it to me. But I love the Glow Kits. They are an amazing formula, but she said that one of these shades in this palette is replacing that one, which is kind of insane, but I probably still wouldn't go for something like this. And then, I mean, again, I wanted to get their bronzer for the longest time, but I didn't bring myself to buy their bronzer because it's $50. I would still go for the Marc Jacobs Duo, which is $50. And I can justify the price of Marc Jacobs, Burberry, Givenchy, YSL, Dior, etc. because you're paying for the brands, you're paying for the name. There is one product from Dior that I think is really expensive that I probably like wouldn't ever really go for this. I don't know who's calling me. Like Dior is pretty expensive. It's like $50 for some things, but I think that's still pretty decently priced for what the brand is. What I think is pretty expensive is their highlighters. Now, for some reason, people think, or designers think, that people are just going to pay for the really pretty packaging on these highlighters to justify the price. So these retail for $56, and this was on my wish list the last sale. And I really, really wanted it, but I think when I swatched it in store, I didn't think it was that impressive, so I decided to skip over it. And I don't remember if I even purchased any highlighters for this past sale. I probably didn't. I did get the Tarte highlighting palette online instead, which I'm probably going to be on no-buy for Tarte for a while. I really need to do like an updated anti-haul, like YouTubers I don't support type of video. I still haven't done that yet. I don't know why. That's been on my list to record like for forever. But yeah, again, this is too overpriced. It is beautifully packaged, but I'm not just going to pay for it just for the packaging. And then the last, like, brand I wanted to talk about is Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath. Now, Pat McGrath, again, is a world-renowned, holy crap, her eyeshadow palette is $125. What? Okay, so Pat McGrath is a world-renowned makeup artist. A lot of people admire her and think that she is like an amazing makeup artist, which is awesome. I love her too. I mean, I don't know her work. I didn't even know who she was until she started coming out with makeup. And her products range from about like, wow, $40 to like $125. So that's kind of insane. So let's just go with the eyeshadow palette because I saw the price of this and I was like, what? So this is the Mothership 2 eyeshadow palette Sublime, and this retails for $125. I believe this comes in different like themes or shade names. I mean themes or like palette names. I believe they're not at Sephora though. I think they're at like Pat McGrath or like another retailer. I think this is just the Sephora collection, but $125. That's like Natasha Denona prices. But it does have 5 stars on Sephora, so that's a pretty good rating. And then Their lipsticks are like $38. Oh yeah, there's another eyeshadow palette. And then the liquid lipstick set is $75. Again, it's just so expensive. Like, why? And then the last brand I wanted to talk about is NARS. Actually, NARS and Becca. Let's talk about NARS and Becca. So NARS isn't like the worst price brand. I do have an array of products from NARS because I love NARS. I have their blushes, I have their lipsticks, I have their bronzers, I have some of their highlighters, but some of their highlighters are like $45. Some of their lipsticks are like $30, which again isn't like an uncommon pricing for these higher end brands like Bite Beauty, Becca, NARS, like not mid-range brands like Too Faced or Urban Decay. Like NARS blushes are $30. That's expensive for a blush, but they are really worth it to me because they are amazingly pigmented and they have an amazing formula. But I would suggest if you never went for a NARS blush, I would go for one of their palettes. They always come out with a blush palette very frequently, and it's usually the same shades over and over again. They like doing the NARS Narcissus palette like all the time for a blush palette. So this is one of their blush palettes, and this retails for $59. So I would totally suggest going for one of their blush palettes over their blushes because this is $59 and you're getting 6 blushes. So that's a pretty good deal. I have the Stephen Klein palette, and that was $50, I believe, and that was a pretty good value. So I'm wearing the Laguna bronzer from there today. I love it. I love the Laguna bronzer. That's why I've never purchase the NARS Laguna bronzer individually because it's always in like every single blush palette that they have, and I actually have 2 of them because I have it in the blush palette and I have it in the Hot Sands duo. It's the Hot Sand highlighter with the Laguna bronzer, so I'm never going to run out of that. So why would I purchase it individually if I already have it? And then like their lipsticks, their liquid lipsticks are actually less expensive than their Audacious lipsticks. Their Audacious lipsticks are $32, which is pretty expensive. I need some water. I'm like really hungry. I didn't really eat anything from school. But I really wanted to come home and record a video because this was my short day, and then after this I'm just going to take my makeup off. But I'm getting pretty hungry, so that's why I'm feeling a little bit nauseous right now. But yeah, I haven't really brought myself to buy their lip liners or anything like that because for me, lip liners is always like the one, and lip glosses are like the 2 things that I think that are so overpriced when it comes to like buying a NARS lip gloss, which is like $26. Like, why? When you can just get a lip gloss from ColourPop for $5 and their formula is flipping bomb. I love the ColourPop formula. And then the other highlighting kind of set or like highlighter that I was talking about from NARS is their dual intensity blushes are $45. That's expensive. So I think they usually come out with a blush palette with these 2, and that's like $60 bucks. So I was just going with that rather than going for one of the duos, which is pretty expensive. Okay, now let's just talk about Becca because I feel like I'm like really tripping on my words right now. Okay, so this is Becca Cosmetics. As you guys know, Becca's pretty well known as well. They're mostly sold at Sephora, and I believe they are also sold at Ulta. Why would I say I believe when I do know that? So anyway, you guys know I really love Becca as well. I think that their highlighting formula is like the most worth it, and the price isn't too bad. It's $38. And they last a really long time, but be careful. Do not drop them. They break really easily. But $38 is still kind of pricey to purchase a highlighter. Then, like, their face palette is $54 for the holidays. And they keep on repeating the same shades, like, over and over again for their highlighting palettes. So I don't think their highlighting palettes are worth the value. I would suggest just going into the store and picking out the one that you love. Just go and swatch them and pick out the one that is best suited for your skin tone and which one is just the most pigmented that you like, or the one that's least pigmented and like more natural for you. But if you're going for Becca, you're not going to get a natural highlight. Their their highlighters like are gorgeous and they're so pigmented and so beautiful. But the Skin Glow face palette is $54 and you're not getting like anything that limited edition in here. You're getting like one limited edition shade. I think it's just too expensive for what it is, and they need to stop repeating all the same shades in every single palette. And then their primers are $38 to $42, which I think is so expensive. The liquid highlighter is not too bad. But even like their smaller highlighters, like the Light Chaser ones, they are gorgeous. Oh my god, they're so gorgeous in store. But I haven't brought myself to buy them because they're $34, so you're not really saving as much getting the smaller pans. I think that's why they released like mini pans of their most popular highlighters, because I think that the $38 ones were getting too expensive for people. Maybe they want to make their brands a little bit more money friendly or wallet friendly. And then like, I don't know, some of their stuff is pretty expensive. And that's pretty much it, you guys. I don't think there's any other brands I really need to cover here. So please leave in the comments below what brands you think are ridiculously overpriced. Oh, there's one more I wanted to talk about. Charlotte Tilbury. Oh my gosh. I almost forgot. Okay, so Charlotte Tilbury. Let's pull that up really quickly. I'm not talking about skincare, by the way. I'm only talking about makeup brands. Charlotte Tilbury. Okay. So Charlotte Tilbury is, again, a makeup artist, and I believe she's mostly only available online. I do see her products in store at Bloomingdale's in Roosevelt Fields. I don't see it in my Bloomingdale's. My Bloomingdale's doesn't really carry a wide range of high-end makeup. Mostly the one at Roosevelt Field carries a lot more high-end brands, and they carry a lot of brands that you don't really see at other stores, which is amazing. They carry like the full line of Charlotte Tilbury. I might pick up a couple of things from her at some point, but again, she is super expensive. Like her eyeshadow palette is $75. I'm just taking the prices off of Google. And then I've really always been wanting to try the Film Star Bronze and Glow highlight palette, and Kathleen Lights is always raving about this one, but it's $68 for a bronzer and a highlighter. I think that's too expensive. And then her Magic Cream, which is her moisturizer, is $100. Like, come on. And then the eyeshadow quads are $53. Like, it's pretty expensive. Yes, it is luxury makeup, but I just think her stuff is just really overpriced. I'm just waiting for the website to load. Yeah, her stuff is really expensive. I really was interested in trying her finishing powder, or like her setting powder or whatever, and some of her lipsticks and her lip liners, but again, too expensive for me. Her lipsticks are $34. They're not like the most expensive thing in the world. I'm just looking at the best sellers, but they are really expensive. But if you guys were interested, just go to her website. She has everything listed there. There is a 15% off promo going on right now, which is pretty nice. If you want to get something, I would suggest grabbing it now. Sorry, I just like don't feel good. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to stop talking because I feel like I'm getting way too hungry. So please hit subscribe. And I will leave all my following info in the description box below. Let me know what luxury brands you think that are too expensive, what I didn't cover, what products you think are worth it, and what products you think aren't worth it if you guys have purchased these and tried them out in the past. I would love to know. And yeah, thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!